we're looking at automating some processes in our business office where we're taking receipts and matching them up with requisitions. Again, not work that people are excited about doing, but that we have to do. And so if AI can take those kind of mundane tasks away, then it frees us up then to think about other systems we can improve.
Welcome to another episode of the Powercast. I'm your host, Jeff Pelzel, and today we're at EDGE in Nashville, and I have the honor of having Dr. Jeremy Thompson from Denton ISD, Deputy Superintendent. Thanks for joining us at the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
So tell everyone about what your role is within Denton ISD, and just share a few things that make that district so special.
Absolutely. So I've been in the district about 18 months now. Deputy Superintendent, CFO, and business operations essentially for the district. So most everything that's not on the academic side of the house. And Denton's a great place. It's a very people-first district. It's a great community. We have about 186 square miles of district and about 4 really distinct zones right now with high schools. And so very diverse. It's a very artsy community. We've got 2 universities in town, but it still has very much a small town feel, and it's still kind of a homey vibe in the community. And so it's a big district, but it still feels like a small town.
I love that. So one of the things that caught my attention earlier here at EDGE was you had some speakers actually talking to the audience, and they gave you the nickname Dr. No. So tell us a little bit about what that is all about.
Yeah, so the 18 months that I've been in the district, probably not just in the state of Texas, but certainly in the state of Texas, we're dealing with budget crisis like everyone is. And so my whole time in the district has been dealing with cutting budgets back and reducing staff and reducing expenditures. And so I think jokingly they call me Dr. No because there's been so much no and so much. We really try to stay positive in the middle of it, but it has been a challenge and will continue to be a challenge going forward. And so, I joke with them that every if we say yes to things, it's a no to something else. Exactly. And so we have to be very judicious about how we use the limited resources we've got. So given that the challenges and stuff, what's one initiative though that you're still really proud of that's going on inside of Denton? Yeah, so probably generically, we've really looked at our systems as a whole, and so we've certainly worked with PowerSchool in that as well. But given the limited amount of resources we have and trying to still stay true to our core purpose of taking care of kids and taking care of the staff that take care of kids, we're really trying to streamline our systems and also to, like many big organizations, to break down walls between silos to make sure we're operating as efficiently as possible, but we don't want to become so efficient that we lose our effectiveness either. And so we've really done a lot of work with systems to try to either automate or to improve our communication or to make sure that we're getting the most bang for our buck for the dollars that we do have. And so not so much a specific program, but really have tried to look system-wide to make sure we're doing the best we can with what we've got. And one of the things Denton's dealt with is we've grown very rapidly. And so some of the systems that worked when we had 10 or 15 campuses don't work the same when we have 47 starting this year. And so some of it is growing up through that fast growth.
So I believe you guys have one of our solutions, Alaview.
We do. We're just in the process of bringing it online,
so,
yes.
Talk to our listeners about why did you make a decision because I'm guessing you were instrumental in making that decision if you're just now implementing. What caught your attention and what are you looking forward to as this solution? Because I honestly, as a former superintendent, I only wish I would have had this solution for so many different reasons, but I'd love to hear your perspective on it.
Yeah, so my perspective is seasoned also. I spent 19 years of my 30 as a superintendent as well. And so in some ways this is was a step back for me in responsibility, but the district is much larger than the ones I served as superintendent in. And so we're only as good in our decision making as the data that we're using to make those decisions. And so Alaview, I think, is going to give us the opportunity not only to have really great data, but to have it in a way that doesn't require our principals and department leads to spend a lot of time digging or creating reports. It's going to be there in dashboard format so that things that our principals would know to do and know they maybe need to do but don't literally have the time to go find that data will now be something that's available to them. And not just at the campus level, but at the district level also, so that we have good real-time data that's graphically displayed in a way that will help us make better decisions in short term. Because a lot of times we make well-intentioned decisions, but if it's based on bad data or we have to spend a lot of time looking for the data, it really affects those decisions, which then in turn affects us financially as well. And so Not all of my decisions are based on the financial side of things, but we have to look at, it's not just our financial, but it's our time resources also. And so those are limited. And I think AlloView is going to help us speed up and improve our decision-making process because that data is going to be readily available.
Yeah, I know. I think about often the business department would go out and meet with our site principals, but they would be flipping through spreadsheets and spreadsheets. And I think about now the ability of maybe principal supervisors
Absolutely.
having real-time conversations. You have the longitudinal trend data, of how it's been spent historically. I just think that's a different conversation with site leaders instead of having some of those folks that every year in April order $80,000 worth of Chromebooks because funds have. So it's a different conversation to be had.
Yeah, and it's not just looking at what did we do last year and we need either an increase on that. We really moved this year we started calling it zero-based budgeting, but it's really, our focus is more on priority-based budgeting. So we tie everything back to our campus and district improvement plans. We say this is what we want to do, but we don't always take the time to go back and look at, hey, we spent this money, did it work, did it not work, did it do what we wanted it to do? And a lot of that is because of the time it takes to go aggregate that data together and put it in a way that is convenient for our principal evaluators to talk to the principals about it. And so if that data is readily available, it takes a lot of the time and work out of that, and the conversations can now be about, did it do what we wanted it to do? Do we need to continue it, stop it, increase it? And so I'm hopeful that it will improve our conversations around the work that we do, not so much about chasing data.
Do the sites have the autonomy to really build out their true budget, or is it more around like resources and extracurricular things like that inside of the budget, or what does that look like?
As much as we can, we want to give autonomy to our campus principals and to our other leaders to be able to make decisions at their level, to lead from where they are. And we talk a lot about defined autonomy, and so we want to be able to set those boundaries up, but then turn them loose. And so we are just now kind of moving into budgeting from that priority-based budgeting standpoint to allow them to say this is a need on my campus that may be outside the norm. Right now it's kind of a one-size-fits-all, and with 47 campuses, our campuses, we want equity, but we know they all have unique needs. And so that conversation, we're just now moving into giving some autonomy with the budgeting piece, or to be able to say, hey, we need to allocate more resources here because of the needs of this student population or something that a principal wants to do. And again, with limited resources, it's hard to do special projects because we just don't have it. But we want to be able to give good data. I think with that autonomy, you've got to have responsibility that goes with it. So you've got to have the data to have those conversations.
One of the pieces I also love, and you sort of talked about this, the allocation and the modeling of the allocation model. I just think that's a really powerful conversation to be able to even have with, you might be in a situation where you have board members who are saying, why don't we just add said, let's say, counselor at every school site, and maybe even in closed session to be able to pull up that tool, be able to add that into your budget in a modeling tool and see the impact that has on the next 3 years if you do those kind of things. We could have never done that. Never done that. It's like you got to go back, we'll get back to you and come. But to be able to do that kind of stuff in real time is really, really powerful.
It is, and we want the dollars that we have from this year, especially as good stewards of our taxpayer dollars, we want them to affect the kids that are in school this year. And so if you don't make those moves in real time where possible, it may take a long time for those dollars to actually make a difference in the lives of kids. And one of our guiding principles is to ask the question, are we allocating our greatest resources to our areas of greatest need? Which means you got to know what your areas of greatest need are, but then you've got to have the ability to allocate resources when there are those needs.
Yeah, and don't you love the fact too that you can track to your strategic goals?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's really an interesting concept, because I think we say this is our number one priority, but then we go back and we pull the data and we spent half as much on the priority goal as we did on the second.
Yeah, and it makes the accountability conversations much easier because you have the data to back it up. And sometimes you may be well-intentioned, but it's not manifesting in how we actually do our practice.
Yeah. Is there any one initiative from your perspective that you're really proud of that is going on, whether it's within your division or across the district, that stands out for you right now?
Really, one of the things, and you've referenced it already, our work with connected intelligence and some of the work that our technology team, we have a really robust technology team, and they're doing a lot of work to try to minimize some of the day-to-day where AI can automate our operational processes, and it's really exciting to see where that's going. They're super excited about it, and I think it is going to free up some of our staff that are spending a lot of time doing The more mundane tasks and hopefully free them up to be more involved in some of the proactive work that we're doing with kids.
Yeah, it's interesting because I heard from afar. I mean, I'm in California, but I heard about the use case of how you guys are using connected intelligence and AI, and I'm like, that is so innovative.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a listener and you want to know more, I would encourage you to reach out here to Dr. Thompson, because it's definitely a great use case, and I think your ROI on it in the end was saved you like 100,000 or something.
Yes, and that was the number he was trying to get to. I really think in the long run it'll be more than that, and
right.
my hope is that the AlloView process or the AlloView tool will help us really evaluate that those dollars as we start looking at work time and overtime, things like that. So we're already looking at how to track that in a way that's very tangible.
So what, you were a superintendent,
yes.
You come to Denton and
yes.
deputy soup. So what drew you?
It's a great district. It's a community and it's a great team. I've got a new superintendent that's been in the job for a year. She's been in the district a long time. And so really believe in the vision there. And I like the finance side of things as well. And so the superintendent job is hard. And after 19 years, my filter was getting a little bit clogged. And so it was a great opportunity for me to take a little bit of a step back in responsibility, but still have a seat at the table in a great district that's able to do some things the size of this district and the resources we have available, offer some opportunities that I didn't have in the smaller rural districts I was in. So it was just a great opportunity at the right time in my career.
Yeah, I mean, recovering superintendent here, so
yes.
I understand that the job is very, very demanding. Not that the job of, I say every executive cabinet level position, until you've walked in those shoes, there's nothing that definitely prepares you for that. And of course, the superintendent's on even a higher level. But I can imagine too. I had a conversation earlier with your current superintendent, who's a new superintendent, but like you said, been in the district for a long time. There's got to be also some comfort with her to have you as her deputy soup, because you've probably encountered a lot of things, and especially when you're in a small district, all things, even more,
are all the hats.
You wear a lot of hats in a smaller district, so that's got to be a comforting conversation to know that you could lean on someone who actually has that kind of experience.
Yeah, my hope is that I am a help to her, and again, we work very well together, and we have a great executive team, and really just a great team as a whole. But my hope is that I can bring some value to that seat and try to stay out of her way as well. She's doing a great job leading the district, but we work very well together, and having sat in the small school superintendent seat and worn all the hats makes it possible for me in a Denton-sized district to be able to sit at virtually any table and talk to transportation or food services or federal programs in a way that's knowledgeable. I've done that job before, and so it's helping us build bridges between the silos, I think.
So can I ask, previously, before you became a superintendent, were you a CBO then
No, I was a math teacher and coach back in the day.
Math teacher here too, high school math teacher?
Yes, high school math teacher. Did about 5 years as a small school principal, grade 6 through 12, and then jumped into the superintendency pretty early.
Wow.
And so math background, and so that's as close as I've got. I'm not a finance guy other than that. So
yeah, high school math teacher too, but I'll tell you, when I stepped into the role, that was the one thing I recognized right away. I had to build my capacity and so I went through an academy, 10-week course kind of thing, and that really helped me because I needed to get closer to it to at least know the questions I should be asking.
Yeah, as a really small school superintendent, you don't have a very big executive cabinet, and so you really function as the CFO, and so running the finance templates and all of those things, it's a steep learning curve, but it's certainly helping me in my role now for sure.
So when you think about your vision and where you see Denton going, like let's say 2030, what are you hoping from your seat that is in place? What do you vision? What is your team vision moving forward?
Yeah, so we fully expect that our district will continue to grow. It remains to be seen what effect school choice and other things will have on the growth of public schools across the nation, but certainly in Texas. But Denton ISD specifically is probably less than half grown out. So we're working on building as we speak our 5th high school. We anticipate that growth is going to continue to come our way out of the DFW Metroplex and other places. And so we're going to continue to be a needed factor in our communities. We serve multiple communities, not just the city of Denton. And so that growth is going to continue to happen. and we're going to continue to serve the same purpose and the same noble calling we always have as public schools. My hope for the time that we're in right now is to really shore up and revise our systems internally, our communication, and our systems of both getting data out, as we've talked about with AlloView, but then also providing a way to check accountability on the back end, so that as we continue to grow and add schools, that the systems will be able to grow with us as we continue to grow in size.
Yeah, that's really fantastic. So, if the job is demanding, what do you do to decompress? I mean, what does that look like for you when you do get some time for yourself?
Yeah, so that was one of the blessings a little bit about stepping out of the superintendent roles. There's a little more freedom to step away, not as much as I thought it might be, but definitely love to travel. My wife's also an educator, so when our calendars can align, we like to travel. Also, I live out in the country, and so have a little bit of land and some animals, cows and chickens and things, and so I enjoy getting out and working in the outside too. The opposite of the office when I can, but certainly travel and then hanging out the house and chasing kids and all those things.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. I guess I want to circle a little bit back to that concept with connected intelligence and your team. Beyond what you've done right now, maybe even just describe for our listeners around what you surfaced, and then where do you see that growing beyond that? Because you mentioned it covered, maybe saved $100,000 or whatever, but where do you see that? Because it's such a powerful opportunity.
Yeah, it really is. So what kind of in short, what we've started with was looking at our enrollment and pre-registration processes and all of the documents, looking at birth certificates and transcripts and things that our campus secretaries and registrars were having to spend hours going back and checking proof of residence and those sorts of things. And so our tech team has been working to train AI to recognize and to pull data from those forms to try to expedite that process, because that enrollment is a huge lift every summer. It's data that we need to know. We're trying to check now about how many kids are enrolled, because it drives staffing, it drives our funding, all of those things. And so that's where we began, and it took off much quicker than I anticipated that it would. And so now we're looking at what other processes are data entry or mundane kind of repetitive task that AI could do for us to free up our people to do other things, and hopefully to limit the amount of overtime and extra time that they're spending. There's a little bit of fear in that when you start automating processes and people are like, well, what am I going to do now if is AI going to take my job away? And the intent is not to chase people off. There may be places where people leave and we don't have to replace them because we're able to automate those processes, which helps on the budget side of things. But the intent's not to chase people away, but it is to free them up to do higher level work even. And I really don't know where it may go. There is some fear around AI, not just losing your job, but where's it going to go, and do we have control over it? But our team's been very responsible in looking at that and trying to make sure that the efforts we're putting into it do have a return on investment, not just financial, but in time and in value. And so they're super excited about it, and I am as well. And so we're looking at automating some processes in our business office where we're taking receipts and matching them up with requisitions. Again, not work that people are excited about doing, but that we have to do. And so if AI can take those kind of mundane tasks away, then it frees us up then to think about other systems we can improve.
Yeah, I think with AI, the automation is critical, because there isn't anyone working in a school system that doesn't have a whiteboard, a notepad, a sticky note with a list of things to do that we're honestly never getting to.
Right.
It's like this dream we want to get to, and hopefully maybe we can do that. And then on the back end too, I think of, the worry about losing jobs. I think what it does is it takes that job description and eliminates these first 10 things, and then it's like, okay, now we're asking you to do more complex things. It could be then lead to a conversation around redoing job descriptions.
Absolutely.
And maybe those things, when you're doing more complex things, it actually elevates that position, and then it's maybe a conversation around compensation and those kind of things
100%.
for those roles that are still preserved.
Right. And the other thing that we're doing as we work on systems and trying to bring teams together is, can we take some of those people and cross-train them between departments so that we've got somebody who understands if this decision's made in HR, this is the implication it's going to have in payroll. And so we're really trying to ease the stress of that to say, hey, we're going to move you into more meaningful work by automating some of the stuff that you don't like doing in the first place. So it will involve job description revisions and really rethinking the way we do business, because it's hard to get out, as we talk all the time, it's hard to get out of that's the way we've always done it. And a lot of times now, as I talk to our tech team, they're like, people don't ask us. We could help, but they don't even think to ask us. And a lot of times, I think because we've been in our ruts and our systems for so long, we don't even think there's another way to do it. And so we're really trying to involve our tech folks in our meetings and our department meetings so that they can raise a hand and say, hey, we can help with that, and we can automate that, and make us much more efficient as we develop new systems.
Well, I appreciate you, Dr. Thompson, for taking the time to join me
Absolutely.
today on the podcast. And for our listeners, if you want a district where they're innovating, looking at using AI, they're using our connected intelligence, reach out to Denton ISD. And again, I encourage you to subscribe, like, and share on this podcast. And until next time, thank you for joining us.
The efforts we're putting into it do have a return on investment, not just financial, but in time and in value.